to order. Jared Stopes,
I'm here.
Valerie Woodall,
I'm here.
Jimmy Tarlow.
Yeah.
Okay, and Luke is on his way. So we do have quorum, and once Luke joins, we'll go ahead and add him to the login. Vice Mayor, can you please start us on the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. And we will move to review of the agenda. Vice Mayor will go ahead and read the agenda. Council, if there's any additions or changes to the agenda, please let us know while the Vice Mayor reads the agenda. Go ahead, Vice Mayor, go ahead and read the agenda.
Yep. Melissa, could you pop that back up? Melissa, can you share the agenda back on the screen?
Melissa or communications, whoever's running the screen.
Oh my God.
Oh, let's check. Thank you, appreciate it.
I think the internet is giving us problem over here. You just keep kicking me out. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, sorry. Thanks.
Thank you, Melissa.
Okay, agenda of the legislative meeting of Mayor and City Council, City of Mount Rainier, Thursday, October 6, 2022, 7 o'clock p.m. Number 1, call to order and pledge of allegiance. Number 2, review of the agenda. The Mayor and Council will review the agenda for the meeting, adding or deleting topics of interest or discussion. Number 3, Mayor and Council members event announcements. Number 4, City Manager's report. The City Manager will present his report to the Mayor and Council. Number 5, public comment. Please see at page 4 of agenda where rules for public comment are listed. If you wish to, excuse me, I'm sorry. If you wish to speak, please advise during the virtual meeting. Number 6, closed session summary. Vice Mayor Jared Stoltzfus will read the closed session summary for Tuesday, September 13th, 2022 in the record. Number 7, presentation discussion on proposed business for 3409 Perry Street, Mount Rainier, Maryland. The owner of Artful and Soul, Miss Jody Wildy, will make a presentation to Mayor and Council on her proposed business for 3409 Perry Street, Mount Rainier, Maryland. Number 8, ARPA discussion and vote. Mayor and Council will have a discussion on the status of projects. Oh, can you just keep on scrolling? Thanks. Number 9, vote on approval of minutes. The Mayor and Council will vote on approving the minutes, June 1st, 2021, public hearing and legislative meeting. June 30th, 2021, public hearing, special legislative and work session. August 9th, 2022, special legislative meeting and public hearing. And September 6th, 2022, legislative meeting.
Okay.
And number 10, adjournment. I'm sorry, number 10, adjournment. All right.
So can you move it up just a little bit? Okay. All right. So Melissa, can you do me a favor for the agenda after number 10 for adjournment? Can you please make a note that a public hearing and a closed session will be following this meeting, so we make sure we don't forget and to alert the community not to leave us completely afterwards.
Mayor, did you say there was going to be a public hearing?
There is a public hearing. It is a different agenda following this. It was like page number 18 of the 19 package. I don't know if you guys saw the communication going back and forward, but there is a public hearing. We were informed by our city attorney that for budget amendments, we have to have public hearings. Basically what we've done in the past, since we had a lot of public meetings, because we usually have 2 work sessions and 1 legislative and then a second reading, it's like, I think it's usually like 3 meetings that used to complete what was required. But in the information that we got submitted to us, she would like for us to also do a public hearing once the budget amendment has been voted and approved. So that's what the hearing is about, Jimmy.
Okay.
But I want to make sure on this agenda it reflects after adjournment, like that.
Recording in progress.
The two meetings are gonna follow. If you could type it after adjournment, Melissa, so that way for public record, we have it. I definitely appreciate it, and followed by a closed session. And if from now on, we could do it that way so that we do not lose sight that there's alternative meetings happening, okay?
Mayor, I have one point of order.
Hold on one second, Luke.
Yep.
Melissa, we're gonna read, no, but I'm saying not this one, but go down, Melissa, on the original agenda, on number 10. After number 10, adjournment. Yeah, after the bottom, you see right before upcoming events, between that space, just make a note that says a hearing is following this meeting and a closed session, because that way it helps me remember not to say end of meeting and then we go home, right? And I done that to you a couple of times. Thank you for advising me that that's what needs to be. Go ahead, Luke. Do you need to add something to the agenda?
No, Mayor, but a point of order. The Arts Commission had a meeting to select their finalists to present to us, but everybody wasn't able to meet the Arts Commission meeting, and they didn't want to make those recommendations unless everybody was attending the Arts Commission meeting. So they're trying to hold another meeting, and they were hoping to get in front of us sooner rather than later because it's getting cold. And so I said I can ask you all if it would be possible to have at the start of next work session, like a little bit of a legislative session just to cover their item. And so I'm just pointing that out because we may want to like suspend the legislative session tonight as opposed to adjourning it, so we don't have to reopen it again. You don't have to, I'm just flagging that in case that might be easier for you, Mayor.
I'm not sure it's a point of order.
Yeah, that was definitely not a point of order because it has nothing to do with this agenda.
I think we can just ask that we have a special, just ask for a special session.
I'll do
We
that.
could separate it, Luke. Yeah,
I'll
let's
do it that
separate it so that way gives enough time. So hopefully, it gives enough time for the next work session. So it shouldn't be a problem. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did see the email that it got pulled. It got requested, I believe, by you to be pulled out. So yeah, so for the next, we could definitely in a separate email. Well, now it's public, right? Request for a legislative meeting for a one item, ideally a one item object, to be added before the work session, so we could have it discussed. Okay. Thank you so much. So anything, once I get the questions, anything to add or delete from this agenda? No, we're good. All right, perfect. So, so the agenda will be adopted as presented with the addition of adding the two meetings that are going to be following this one. And from now on, Melissa, please make sure it's honest so that way the community knows and that way it keeps us on track and we're lined up. Although the agenda's there, sometimes it's like after the 19 page, it's a lot of information to consume. All right, perfect.
That was a call for the area check that I requested, and that there's a renter there.
Can you please mute everybody except for my mic?
Yeah.
Can everybody close their mic, please? We heard a whole entire conversation. I hope they find the check. Okay. So moving on to Mayor and Council member events. We will start with Ward 2 this time. Valerie, Jared, Jimmy, and Luke. Go ahead. The floor is yours, Valerie.
So the next event for the Recreation Committee is October 15th from 10 to 1. It's the Children's Porch Fest. So hopefully everybody will come out. It starts at the Food Forest and then goes to the 30th Street Park and then back to the Food Forest area. And there will be music and games and art and fun. So hopefully everybody can come out for that.
Thank you so much. And Valerie, thank you so much also for presenting at the PTO and reminding people about the study. That was really nice. Okay. Jared, go ahead.
Nothing to add, Mayor. Thank you.
Perfect. Jimmy? Jimmy, your mic is muted.
You told us to mute him.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have any announcements. Thank you, Mayor.
Anything on CERT team?
I was just trying to check what the next meeting is. I mean, I'll just make a dig, not a dig, but the search team is very good and very it's a dedicated group. We have new officers and people are interested in being trained. There's a lot of free training going on that we'd love to involve more people from Mount Rainier in the search training. I don't have the meeting date yet, so I'll post it. Thank you.
So any questions, please, you could reach out Councilmember Tarlow or
Melissa.
Melissa B, who is the president, and they will be at the Children's Porch Fest, providing information and first aid if needed. So they have become very, very active once again. So thank you, Jimmy, for helping with those efforts, and also Melissa and the team. All right, perfect. Luke, you're next.
Thank you, Mayor. On November 12th, the Green Team is going to be doing a cleanup of a forested area on the south side of town near the railroad tracks and all the art studios down there. We're going to have a partnership with the University of Maryland and their community outreach efforts. There should be about 30 to 40 students who are going to be joining us for it. The forested area is very dense, and there's some trash and old tires and stuff back there. And the owners of the properties the person who owns that property, as well as the art studios, will be partnering with as well. And the goal is to clean it out enough so we can have a little bit of a forest walk area there, and that at some future date we could figure out, what more the community might want to do with that space. So very thankful to the owner of the property for being willing to activate this space for the community. The goal is to kind of do what we did with the forest walk that borders the food forest. Just create a little space, a little nature space that people might be able to access. This is a much more difficult space to clean out because of the terrain. It's very hilly, and there's a little creek back there. But we're going to see what we can do, and hopefully folks can join us on November 12th. The cleanup will start early at about 8:30, and then we'll continue probably till about 11:30, as long as people can last. And we might have some refreshments from folks for folks afterwards, but we're working on those details. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Anything on this on the project you're doing with the Native Plant Network? I know you meet with the Sierra Club a lot.
Oh, yes. We do meet with the Sierra Club on that work the fourth Thursday of every month. So the next meeting will be the October 27th. But for the city, for the Mount Rainier Native Plant Network, we did have an event last week that was was well attended to let folks know in the city about the Mount Rainier Native Plant Network. And there will be announcements coming out through the city's communication channels about how you can get your yard certified to get on that network and get a nice sign designed by our very own Tori Partridge.
Thank you so much. Melissa, can you go to the upcoming events part of it? So in the meantime, I'll read through this. So Indigenous People Day will be this October 10th. The city offices will be closed. Children's Port Fest, so Valerie read already, October 15th. The police department will be hosting a trunk or treat on October 28th at the Nature Center. The Halloween parade will take place on October 29th, and that's going to be in front of Joe's. Veteran Day flag racing and brunch, it will be November 11th. So if you're a veteran, please reach out to us, to either any of your council members, mayor, or the city, to that way we could give you the information and sign you up for it. Luke read already the green team for November 12th. Please come over. It's a lot of green space and it's right here in our backyard. The Thanksgiving basket distribution will be November 18th. And Thanksgiving will be November 24th, and the city offices will be closed for the Thanksgiving baskets. We already started putting some messages out. So we're gonna be putting more information out where you could sign up. If you are in Mount Rainier and Thomas Stone, please reach out to either Ms. Washington or Ms. Valencia, and they should be able to help get you in the list. And for the senior center, I'll be reaching out to Ms. Diane, who has like every year helped coordinated the efforts when it comes to the senior apartments. And if you are not in, I have a kid in both of our schools or in the senior residency, the city will be pulling the efforts together and reaching out and letting you know where you can sign up as well. Last but not least, we have been very fortunate to have quite a few people come and check out Mount Rainier. The facade improvements already on the work. If you haven't checked out the new look of the police department, it's looking very beautiful. Right now, they're working in Lourdes Bakery, and that's taking a complete change. So the plans is for the facade improvement Rhode Island to finish by the end of December. And they're making, you know, Rhode Island's looking all beautiful. Public Work was able to finish the sidewalk with tree boxes and flexi pavement to make sure we beautify that space. So thank you, Valerie, for that. The job fair between the City of Mount Rainier, the Nature Center, will be October 14th at the Nature Center from 10 to 3 p.m. And I was very delighted to also host the assembly member from El Salvador, Jaime Guevara, who had a very lengthy conversation with when it came to Salvadorans abroad, but also Salvadorans in El Salvador, and migration, green infrastructure, also the arts and youth involvement. And I'm happy to say that once I travel to El Salvador once again, I'll be meeting with him in Morazan, which quite a few of our residents are from that area of El Salvador, to see what programs they're having and exchange ideas and figure out what other ways we could connect. So it was very, very excited to see him and him share information about our city, and got to do a whole walkthrough of what, you know, our city looks like, but with a green aspect lens. So I got to showcase a lot of the great work that we're doing. Today, I also hosted the director of La Mancha Blanca, who, as you guys know, the Latin Film Festival is happening right now in Silver Spring in Montgomery County. And there's a lot of submissions that go through internationally, and they were selected. So I got to talk to them about like art, music, but also when it comes to being involved. So we're gonna work to try to coordinate with probably like other groups for them to have a showing of their film for the community, because their whole goal is to make this film also accessible to the community. And it deals a lot with femicide that's happening in various countries. And I think it's an important subject, right? But so it's going to be 18 and over, and I will provide more information once I talk to them and other partners that we're working with to make sure this is brought up either to our city or nearby, depending what we could do, right? But it was very excited to talk to them, and they just came back from Toronto's film festival, and they made it to a film festival here in Maryland, and they have quite a few festivals to go to. So it was really nice to see that having representation is always great in all aspects. So I look forward to continue working with them. And a couple of meetings ago, I told you we had an architect that came out to offer like, you know, opinions and feedback. And so us to collaborate when it comes to facade improvement and figure out what lessons could be learned from our ability to be able to keep our city the way it is, but like lifting it up, whether through art or through facade improvements or through green spaces. And it's something that very much interests them to be able to also apply like in other parts of like, you know, the country. So it's been very positive meetings showcasing how great our city, our residents, and the talent that we have here, and exchanges of opinions. And they got to meet with some business owners, some artists, and they got to tour a verified city. So it's been pretty exciting. So I'll keep you guys posted on what else is to come from that. But overall, you know, everybody working, not just in this meeting, but also the whole staff in the community makes it very easy to talk about how great the city is and how far we come and how much work it has taken to be where we're at, and showcase what a city, although it's like right next to a major city like DC, could still keep the sense of small community and focus on green goals. So those will be my announcements, and we are gearing to have an orientation with the Youth Scholarship Committee. And we're also gearing to put more information out when it comes to the Youth Advisory Board that just got passed. And Jimmy, before I forget, we're still seeking for one member for Ward 1 for the Police Advisory Board. So please submit your applications, as you could find the application link and our MRTV.org website. If you have any additional questions, you could direct them to any of us. Jimmy's taking lead on that. And Jimmy's available to talk if you have any questions, if you'd like to apply in what it is, okay? So those will be my mayor and council member announcements. And thank you, Valerie, for filling in the last one that I was missing. All right, perfect. Council, anything else to add, or we're good?
Good.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. You look good. Valerie? Good. Jared, good. Thank you guys so much. All right, moving on to the next item. I apologize. Wow, this thing does not want to go back to where I needed to. Moving on to the next agenda item. We're going to be having our city manager's report. The city manager, Kurush Kamali, will present the report to mayor and council and the community. As you guys recall, this is something that we used to do and stop for a bit. And mayor and council wanted this to continue once again. So on the legislative sessions, our city manager will give a report to us in the community. So Mr. Kamali, this will be your first city manager report to the community, correct?
Yes, Mayor.
Perfect. So the floor is yours, Mr. Kamali.
Thank you, Mayor, and hello, Council, and hello, City of Mount Rainier. All right, Melissa, can you pull up the bi-weekly report? Because I usually report to the Mayor and Council on the bi-weekly basis. So that was the last report that I provided to Mayor and Council on 9/23/22. Starting with usually as a city manager, let me just tell you about myself. This is Kurush Kamali. I'm the city manager. I was appointed in August 2nd last year. And I've been facing a lot of challenges, but for this report, usually I have a bi-weekly meeting with my department heads to get an update for each department and make sure that we stay on the right track. So that's the first item in my report. The second item is the FY21, FY22 audit. When I became the city manager, I just want to let you know that the city was behind the audit. So I finished the audit FY20 on January 22, and I can give you a good news right now that FY21 is almost finished. Nothing needed from my end, and the auditors are trying to prepare the final documents. And actually, we're doing FY22, and I will have everything done, and I'll be on the right track and meet the deadline, which is November 31st. So I will get that one after 7 years on the right track. So the city was almost, behind the audits, but I'm going to finish 3 audits in almost a year and a half that I've been the city manager. So that's a good news, and I hope that I can keep up with that audit for next year. The next item that I have in the list is comprehensive street and sidewalk study and assessment redesigning plan. Mayor and council advised me to work with the tool design. So we have contracted the tool design to provide a comprehensive redesigning our street and sidewalks that improves the health and the safety of our residents. Well, what's going on, because we have so many issues and requests regarding the speed bumps and lowering the speed bumps, lowering the speed limits. So we worked with the tool design, and tool design had a first community meeting on September 19, and we extended the survey until October the 7th. So hopefully we're gonna have a good study and a good direction how to manage the traffic in our city. So the next item I have, installing the solar panel on the city's building. Mayor and council advised me to look for some solar panel that we could install on the city's buildings, including Public Works, the police department, and the city hall has already the solar panel. So I'm trying to come up with, and also the code compliance building too. So those are the locations that we're looking to install the solar panel. I've asked the city attorney to provide RFP that we can put it in the Maryland e-marketplace to receive proposal and take it from there. That's another project that I'm working. The next project that it's already in place is Potts Hall. As you all know that, Potts Hall is located on 3405 Rhode Island Avenue. That's the building that belongs to the city. It's a historic, building. And we're trying to make a connection between the Potts Hall and the city hall. That project has been going on since 2015. Mayor and council advised me to take lead on that. And right now, what I can say that we put the bid out and we received 4 proposals on September 22, 2022. And right now I'm working with the architects to review the proposals and see who we can, select to be a contractor for that project. And hopefully that project is going to take about 18 months. And so hopefully we're going to have Potts Hall that's going to be served the community. Mayor and council would like to call it as a welcome center for the community. And also they will be using it as a council chambers. So I'm so excited for that project, but I'll be working with the architects and hopefully to select a contractor, and then I will keep you all posted on that. The next item that we have, as Mayor just mentioned, is the facade improvements that we have some grants, and Mr. Hopkins is working with the contractor, and right now the project started on September 14, and the first location was the police department, and it's going to beautify the Rhode Island Avenue, our businesses, and I'm sure that it's going to get more attention to our businesses. So that's another project the city is holding right now. Next project was Melinda Miles building. As you know that the city purchased that building from Dr. Gupta's office last year, and mayor and council allocated some money to renovate that building from the ARPA fund. And we got the money, so we started the project and we finished the renovation. The building didn't have any ADA compliance. I'm glad that we made that. And so a big renovation has been made to that building. And I was able to rent the lower level for to artist, who is almost the designer in the city. And she just moved in on October 1st. I appreciate Mr. Hopkins also that he helped a lot in this regard. So the next item in this, my bi-weekly report, is Memorial Park project. Am I going too fast or am I doing okay?
You're doing fine. Go ahead.
All right. So, all right. The next project is the Memorial Park project. As you know that where the city has that triangle on 33rd and 3400 Rhode Island Avenue that belongs to the city, and it's a memorial park. So Councilmember Luke Chasik and I, we've been working with the designer, with the consultant to revitalize that section, that park, and make that park as a community park. And right now we have LID Center as a consultant that is working on the design of that park to be a beautiful community park. And the landscaper will catch attention of passers-by and establish a healthy environment for the community gathering and economic, growth. And the mayor and council have allocated some money from ARPA money, and also we have 2 grants from different agencies, DHCD and the other, I'm sorry, I forgot the name, but we have $300,000 grant on that. So right now we are almost at DPI, and DPI is reviewing our drawings, and hopefully once we get the permit, we're gonna go ahead and, put the bid out and get the contractor, and make sure that project is gonna be on the right track. So
Mayor?
that's another exciting project for the city of Mount Rainier Memorial Park, which is located at 3300 Rhode Island Avenue.
Mayor, I
Yeah.
just want to flag one thing
Yes.
for Melissa before she scrolls up.
Hold on 1 second. Luke, is that you speaking? Hold on. Is
Yep,
it is
Mayor.
it related to Mr. Kamali's report? Could be, or could wait at the end of like Mr. Kamali's report?
I wanted to flag, Jarrett texted me. I just wanted to make sure that if there was something in the bi-weekly report about HR, that Melissa didn't show it on the screen. I'm just flagging that for everyone. I don't know if there was.
No,
it
there
may-
is nothing.
Okay,
There is
nothing, okay.
nothing. No,
Just
no, no,
flag
no.
it.
I
Okay,
already gave the clerk the updated and revision report.
Great, thank you.
All right, sure.
Thank you.
All right. The next project that the city has is the 31st and Perry Street, which we call it the Green Street project. And I want to say thank you to Jimmy Tarlow and Delegate Ivy that they gave us, $530,000 from legislative, state, legislative aid. And so we're trying to have a Green Street projects at the intersection of Perry Street and 31st. So I have a consultant that is working on that design and drawing. So we're trying to implement some Green Street and landscaping elements and get rid of those bollards that we have over there. And the existing traffic condition is going to stay the same. And I asked the LID Center to present a report to Mayor and Council on September the 20th. And I received direction from Mayor and Council that to move forward with the original design. Can you, Melissa, put that one up, please? All right. So that's for, 31st Street and Perry. We call it the Green Street. So the city is not putting anything. We're using the $530,000 that we're receiving from Delegate Ivy. And thank you to Jimmy Tarlow for, getting the city that money. The next item in my report is the ARPA funding. As you know, that the city has received $5.4 million ARPA from Biden's, Mr. Biden's administration. So, and we've been utilizing that money. Some of the money has been allocated to, as you see in my bullet points, we're doing the rent and utility assistance to the residents of Mount Rainier. So the application was put out last month and we're receiving some applications right now. I'm working with a consultant and reviewing those applications. So that's one item in my ARPA. And the next item, we have the outdoor classroom agreements where with Mount Rainier Elementary School and Tom Stone. And so they're trying to have some outdoor classrooms, and the city is providing $20,000 to each school. And so last week we had the agreement. The agreement was signed, and I'm in the process of, cutting the checks and providing $20,000 to each school, which is elementary, Mount Rainier PTO and Tom Stone PTO school. Next item in my report provided to Mayor and Council was the FOP Collective Bargaining Agreement, which we call it CBA. So we have received some requests from our.
Can you remove that from
FOP.
the report, please, Mr. Kamali? Can you go on
I'm
to the next item?
Can I go to the next item?
Yes, please.
Okay, sure, Mayor. All right, the next item is the HR, which is the staff departure or new hires. Our HR is working with the chief and public works director and code enforcement director, code compliance director to fill the vacant position. Right now, we have a social service coordinator, 2 police officers for the police department. We have 1 code inspector for code compliance. We have 1 labor position at Public Works. So I do appreciate anybody, if knows anybody is, looking for a job, to have them, look at the city's website. And also the city is holding a job fair at Nature Center on October 14th from 10 to 3 p.m. Our staff gonna be there and, trying to see if we could, get some good applicants from that job fair. Mayor, that's the end of my report. If anybody has any question, I'll be glad to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Kamali. Council, any questions, or do you want us to skip? Because Mr. Kamali, this was the first one, so I let it go for a little longer. Usually it's a little more
I'm
compact.
sorry, Mayor.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'll try to be short next time.
Yeah, so that's fine. Council, I'm gonna start with Ward 1 since I started with Ward 2 last time. Jimmy, Luke, Jared, Valerie.
No, Mr. Kamali, I just think there's an impressive amount of work that's being done in the city. And some ways we should figure out how
Recording stopped.
Why did the recording stop?
So
Anyway.
Communications, can you find out why the recording stopped?
No one wants to hear me.
Anyway, go on.
Anyway, I just think there's a really a lot of stuff that's going on
Recording
in
in
the city.
progress.
And one of the things I always tell my union leaders is that if people don't know what you're doing, you haven't really done anything. And we should figure out a way actually to communicate some of the activity, whether it's a report to the community, or you should put it in the message, because there's a lot of good things going on. And I think unfortunately a lot of our constituents don't know all the things that are going on. But thank you for the good work, and thank you, Mayor, for being a leader of this effort.
Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Mr. Kamali. Luke, go ahead.
No, I just want to echo that. I think there's a really good story to be told here about everything that's happening in the city. A lot of hard work that's gone on for a lot of years. That's sort of, once you put in that hard work, we can get to this point. I know, Mayor, you've been involved in the back of a lot of this stuff that's gone on over the last couple of years. And so we're just getting to a really good place right now. And I think that's really impressive. And so I hope residents realize that. And if anybody's thinking about getting involved in city government, know it takes time and it takes a lot of effort, but you can make a lot of progress. And that's exemplified by the list we see here tonight. So just thank you, Kamali, for all the work you do, and just appreciate the updates.
Thank you, Luke. Valerie?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I echo all that. I think you're doing a good job. I think there's a lot being done, a lot of hard, complicated things and bond bills and all the little, difficult things. So I think you're doing a good job. I think this is, I think our economic development areas downtown will look a lot better with the facade improvements and the Memorial Street Park. So thank you for all the work. And yeah, I look forward to, I think putting it in the message and putting information out there like this is important. So thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Jared?
No, Mr. Kamal, I just want to thank you for starting this up again. I won't repeat what everyone else said about the utility of it, but, I just I want to, again, thank you for, first off, you when you started, you were talking about catching the city up on the audits. I know that was a issue that had been challenging before you came in. You came in and had to kind of get us caught up to speed, fix some of the outstanding items, and that can be hard without some of the institutional memory. So I really appreciate you taking the time and getting us back up to speed and in compliance. It's really, really important for the city's ability to receive federal and state and other funds. And then just on that point, city's managing a lot of capital projects. I feel really good about having our former director of public works running the city, knowing that we have such a kind of a great pipeline of capital projects that are going to be great for the city, ranging from key infrastructure stuff and infrastructure things around like stormwater and parks to helping kind of spruce up the look of our downtown with the facade improvement. So thank you to you, Mr. Hopkins, and everyone else, and also Selena and Luke. You were working a lot of these issues before I got on council. I and others like Valerie are, kind of blessed to be here along for the ride as a lot of these things go into enactment. So thank you.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you for putting the report together, Mr. Kamali. I noticed a lot of key elements. The other thing to point out is that that a lot of these projects are being done with like external funds, not all of them necessarily with city funds. So our team does a lot of work to be able to go out and look for funds. I know since we feel that because our taxes could be a little bit high and some stuff, although we continue to reduce them, that covers everything. And the reality is that it doesn't. That's the reason why they're very, very aggressive at going after grants and bonds and making sure that, every bit of money that we can get our hands on is brought up to the city to be able to expand. So sometimes we have beautiful plans, but the funding is not there. So it might be a 10-year plan. We have been able to, pull a lot of the stuff like infrastructure for streets and stuff, mainly because we have the funding to be able to do it. And also I want to say thank you to former council members and mayor, because they had a vision. We wouldn't even have a pothole to fix had they not had the vision to purchase it. Or even when it comes to our, PD building, our public works building, right? And even solar and green, we are definitely very fortunate to have that to do. And usually it's like, we have a lot of deficits with great visions, but very little money. Right now, it's like with ARPA has allowed us to be able to extend, but also at the same time, collaborate with the community. So thank you to the whole entire team for putting this together, and also to the various people that came before us and have a vision that we could have continued to build upon. All right. Okay. So let me, I am getting, Melissa, I'm seeing you. Okay. So from our clerk, the internet is bouncing her on and off. So let's be a little patient. That's the reason why you guys can connect and disconnect from it. So we're gonna probably have to, you're gonna have to add that to your long list of stuff, Mr. Kamali, the internet at City Hall.
We'll do
Okay,
that.
thank you. So bear patient as Melissa's trying to get us through on the clerk end, as they're having troubles at City Hall. Okay, thank you, Melissa, for informing us, and council will accommodate as needed. Okay. Moving on to item, and thank you for the report, Mr. Kamali. Moving on to item number 5, public comment. Let me see, please, okay. For public comment, residents of the city of Rainier are welcome to speak on items that are not on the agenda. And if for whatever reason you cannot stay late with us, you are also welcome to speak on items that are on the agenda. If you're speaking for yourself, you have 3 minutes to speak. And if you're speaking for a group, you have 5 minutes of time to speak. We will listen. If you do take the 5 minutes for the group, that means the collective group has chosen you to represent that group, and therefore they're forfeiting their time to speak. At this time, I will ask if anybody would like to speak on public comment. If you're in the chat with us, type in the chat your name, last name, block and street number. For example, if you leave 3714, you just have to put 3700 block of X Street, okay? And if you are on our social media, type your question and our team will be able to let us know, and we'll go ahead and read it. Also, if you just want us to read your question and you don't want to speak, let us know. We're happy to read it as well, okay? So if somebody here would like to ask a question regarding the agenda, please let us know. And in the meantime,
Mayor, there's somebody
okay.
from 3208 Otis Street who wanted to speak. I don't know if you saw his hand.
Hold on one second, Jimmy. Okay, give me 1 second. Jared, can you also go ahead? Jared, can you also make sure you can you guys mute everybody else, please?
Sergey's decoration. Look, he just hung the curtains. Doesn't that look
Sure.
pretty? Yeah.
Hello, this is Sergey.
I think it was Sergey's in the background.
Yes, hi, this is Sergey Kostin of 3208 Otis Street.
Give me 1 second, sir. Hold on. Can you put it, because we're getting a lot of back sound in the back from where you're at? Okay, so I have first in the deck, we have Sergey of 3200 Otis Street regarding a site violation, and he would like to speak during public time. Go ahead, Sergey, the floor is yours.
Hi, yes, so I was given a violation and and was told that if I oppose it, to appear before the council and the mayor. So here I am. And so it's regarding actually a green program, interestingly enough, that is part of the city already, so I'm perplexed as to why I got the violation. It is a ground cover that during the summer has blue flowers, and during the cooler months, it has pink flowers. It's been there for 4 years at the edge of my property at the alley, which at this end of Otis Street Alley, we actually own halfway in the alley, along with the other four or five neighbors around me. So it's really not abutting the alley, as we own the property into there with a special deed for for traffic to flow through our private property. In any event, that's what the violation is for these plants that have been there for years already. So I'm not quite understanding why I would get a violation when my property is meticulously cared for, both back and front. I appreciate what the city does with regard to monitoring what's on in our area. And I actually would hope that maybe a little keener eye would look at even some of the more damaging effects of what objects are lying on the alleyway pathway, from a neighbor who has had garbage back there. The city comes through. Please go ahead.
I apologize, and I will have to say something to you. You don't have to appear in front of us for the violation. I'm not sure if that was written something. I'm gonna ask staff to correct that, or but if you could send us the information to know what it specifically it is, and we could direct Mr. Kamali to follow up with you, so we know. And I'm happy to stop by, and I'm sure one of the council members also will, right? But I will say, if you could send us what was sent to you, so we're on the same page, because you're telling us there's a violation about a plant in the alley, but we have not seen the document. So
Gotcha.
if you could send it to us, so we'll talk to our team to figure out what it is.
Okay.
But definitely you don't need to come and speak to us in regards to that.
Yeah, I thought this was very, very odd for me to appear before the council with regard to a violation. So I'm glad you're clarifying that. And yes, I will follow up with doing exactly what you're asking.
Yes, so I mean, you're welcome to do it, but you don't have to do it. I just want to make sure that's clear, okay?
Gotcha.
Especially and if that's the case, if you need to, let's say, appear for something like that, we usually will talk to you, put the agenda, and then have time, like, the rest of the items on the agenda. So we will give you a spot in the agenda, so it's not like you just have to wait around. Okay. But if
Very
you
good.
could send us the information to council@rainiermd.org, but you must have our emails as well. If not, let us know, and I'm happy to stop by and see what it is as well. Okay.
Yes, could you just put that in the chat, the address, so I could just confirm that it is
Of
what I
course.
have already?
I'm gonna.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so this is like for the whole entire council that hits mayor and council, and I also will put my email address as well. You could like email both, and our city manager email address, it's city manager @rainiermd.org. So I put the 3 email addresses right there. Okay.
Very good. Appreciate that.
And thank you so much for appearing and doing your due diligence. That's what you thought you needed to do. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And let me ask you just one question, because there is a fine attached to this if I didn't do what was being asked, but yet appear before the council. So my question is, I don't want to get into some sort of situation where I'm going to start getting fined while we still work this out with the recommendation of what you just spoke to.
You're not getting fined for not appearing in council. Obviously, you're here, and we'll solve it out. Okay, we'll solve it out what the document is and what we're supposed to do.
Very good.
Okay? So you're fine. Okay. And Mr. Kamali,
Very good. Thank you so much.
Let's follow up with that one as well. Okay. I think I see your head shaking, Mr. Kamali. All right. Thank you so much, Serge.
Okay. Thank you so much. Very good. And thank you for everything you all do. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right. Perfect. Do we have any other member, and your camera's on, I was going to say, do we have any other resident that would like to speak in public comment? Jared, do we have anybody from social media?
This is Pink, Mayor. Nothing on Facebook.
Oh, thank you, Pink. I apologize. Hi, Pink. Feel like I just saw you 5 seconds ago. Pink is our communications and events coordinator for the city of Rainier. If you haven't met her, she's been with us for quite a bit of time now. You'll see her in all the events, running around and doing wonderful things. So thank you, Pink, for that. Okay. All right. So seeing that there's nothing on the chat or on social media, we'll move on to item number 6, closed session summary. Our Vice Mayor, Jared Lopez, will read the closed session summary for Tuesday, September 13, 2022 into record. Go ahead, Jared.
Melissa, do you want to pop that up?
Pinky, do us a favor. Can you email us to all mayor and council right now the latest package, if you have it, or Melissa, so that way we have it accessible? Because I know, Melissa, you're having a bit of problem with the internet, so that might be some of it.
Mayor, I have it in front of me too. I can certainly share my screen. If that's helpful.
Yeah. If not, go ahead and read it, Jared, because if they're having technical problems, it might be a little bit harder.
Okay. Yeah, a closed session summary sheet to be read into record on September 13th, 2022, 8 p.m. Our location was virtual. We closed our meeting under annotated code, general provisions, article section 3-305B7. Those who voted to go into closed session were Mayor Selena Benitez, Councilmember Luke Chesick, Councilmember Jarrett Stoltzfus, Councilmember Jimmy Tarlow, Councilmember Valerie Woodall. It was unanimous of all the elected officials in attendance: Mayor Selena Benitez, Councilmember Luke Chesick, Councilmember Jarrett Stoltzfus, Councilmember Jimmy Tarlow, Councilmember Valerie Woodall. Those in attendance were Mayor Selena Benitez, Councilmember Luke Chesick, Councilmember Jarrett Stoltzfus, Councilmember Jimmy Tarlow, Councilmember Valerie Woodall, City Council Alyssa Levon, City Manager Karosh Kamali. The actions taken were to consult with council to obtain legal advice. Topics discussed were to consult with council to obtain legal advice. And the recorded vote to close the meeting was on September 13th, 2022, 8:05. Location was virtual. Motion to close the meeting was made by Selena Benitez, seconded by Jarrett Stoltzfus. 5 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 absent. And the reason statutory authority to close the session was, again, as mentioned earlier, the meeting was closed under general provision, Article 3-305B, Provision 7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. And that's it.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Vice Mayor, for keeping us on track with closed sessions. We are up to date in any closed session we have. We do our due diligence to go ahead and read a summary report to keep us on track to inform the community that we've held closed sessions. All right, perfect. Moving on to the next item. Melissa, can you move it to the next item? I feel bad for Melissa because she likes to be on point with the agenda. This is definitely troublesome, Melissa. I know you're doing your best. So if I need to look for my agenda too. But if I call, Jared, do you have the agenda in front of you? I believe the next item on the agenda was
So the discussion is 3409 proposed. Selena, sorry if you can't see it.
Go ahead.
It's presentation and discussion on proposed business for 3409 Perry Street. Oh, here we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Miss Jody Wildy from Artful and Soul is going to make a presentation. So we do have Ms. Jody here. I think I saw her online. Ms. Jody is here. So I'm going to go ahead and Ms. Jody Wild is here and go ahead and cede the floor. I do want to thank her for submitting all the various documents that she did to Mayor and Council and the team. Thank you for that, from like plans, proposals. I mean, you're very kind in sharing all that information with us. Also, to be here with us. Thank you for that as well. So we're looking forward to not only introducing you to the community, but also for you to talk about the new project that you have here, Artful and Soul, and what it is, what it looks like. I know there was quite a bit of questions for our residents regarding the liquor license, and they were very concerned. But I think it's always fair to like give businesses an opportunity, because we have very, very great business that have been very successful and very great to our community that do have the license, and they have been very respectful of their neighbors. So Ms. Joy Wild, welcome to Chambers, the virtual Chambers. We would like to hear from you and looking forward to what you have to present.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to say initially that my architect is here online. So if you have any architectural questions, he'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have that I may not be able to answer as it relates to the architect and the design. Again, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, the city manager and the council and Mr. Hopkins. And I hope I didn't miss anyone. But I invested and purchased the building. There's right now there's no mortgage on it. I've always wanted to live in Mount Rainier. Actually, my first house that I put a contract on, which was a number of years ago, was actually in Mount Rainier because I love the atmosphere of Mount Rainier. I'd like to stop and give you a little background about myself. As you can see, I was a real estate investor, and I have more than 25 years of real estate, event planning, and management. Art and Soul was a concept of mine that I've had. It's more or less like a dream of mine, and it just so happens that the perfect building, what I consider the perfect building, came up for sale. I had been looking in for years in the Mount Rainier area, but fortunately, or somebody might look at it different, I started off large, I went to medium. Now I'm at a comfortable size that I think that I can more less handle, which is comfortable to me. I am the sole owner of the property. My company name actually is Inkwell Investments, and Artful and Soul is a subcategory of Inkwell. I just as a FYI, I know about a little about real estate investing. I know about the licenses and permits that you have because I used to work for DCRA, DC Consumer and Regulatory Affairs. I was a food inspector there, but we worked very closely with all of the other agencies, fire, electrical, plumbing. So we had to make certain that the buildings that we provided licenses to met all of the requirements necessary so that they would pass all of their inspections. And if they didn't, we would go out under the food inspection branch or the sanitary inspection branch, they later started to call it, and make certain that they were up to code and that all the refrigeration, the food and everything, that they had the proper lighting, everything that was required for them to obtain a license. We did. We actually worked with the ABC license also. So if they had a violation, we could report to any of those departments that there was a problem. So we all worked collaboratively together to make certain that businesses met the standards that DC required at the time. My whole concept, again, was not necessarily, let me back up. The whole concept is for people to enjoy themselves. Yes, and I applied for a liquor license and an entertainment license, but my target audience, as you read, is basically 40 and over, because at my age and my friends' age and family age, we're not interested in, hip hop or any of the other types of music that, people have. Ours is mostly geared towards jazz, R&B, and it's more or less a lounge area for people who are older and more mature to sit back, enjoy themselves, have a drink, and have some entertainment. And the entertainment is basically jazz. It's we're looking at poetry slams, karaoke, and other types of singers to come in. And again, I have to keep reiterating, it's basically for our, I don't want to say our age, because I don't know how you all are, but our age. And I will say that I'm in my 60s, so I am not interested in any of the bebop or any of that type of music. But from what I hear, just for the population my age, is that there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do. And all they want to do is basically just sit back, relax, and be entertained. And of course, the primary business there is the art gallery and exhibition. My concept was that, a lot of people don't get around, to art galleries. So why don't you come here, enjoy yourself, and look at all the local artists and entertainers in this particular area, Mount Rainier. And of course, we're going to get part of the DMV. So it's basically, again, someplace where people can sit, relax, enjoy themselves, and without all of the other, what word am I looking for? I'm trying to be politically correct here, but I'll just say any riffraff out there, so that, you're not exposed to that type of thing. I've spoken, I've put in a call to the Mount Rainier Police Department. I hadn't had a response yet, but I want to make certain that people are safe and feel comfortable. My family will be, I have a relatively large family. They will be attending. People, again, my age are looking forward to it because, again, my understanding is that there's no real place to go. And the thing that I love about Mount Rainier is that it is in the Arts District. And people can, it literally, as you all know, right over the DC line. So hopefully we'll get some of those individuals who meet the criteria that I'm looking for. We're trying to accommodate against several activities. So it's not just the entertainment, it's not just the individuals my age, but we want to be able to, during the day, have different events such as hand dancing. We want to do some items for classes for young people, like STEM classes, art classes. So it's going to be a multitude of things that we want to do. And I want to host, I would like to, and if I'm jumping around, please forgive me, because I get excited when I talk about this, but I want to be able to host organizations, 501c3s, and help them raise money, because I am very, very active in the community. And this is more or less my ability to give back to the community. So it just so happens it worked out, and I'm in a perfect location. I love the location where it is. And you know, it will give the artists exposure, local performers exposure. And again, it's not just, you know, for arts and entertainment, but we do want to do some classes for young people. And one important thing that we want to do is, or I want to do, is I want to do civics classes, because I think we've gotten so far away from, you know, civics that people don't understand how, well, young people don't understand how the government actually works. So we're going to have, I'll have a warming kitchen. And basically right now I'll be just serving food that doesn't accumulate grease. And I would say soup, sandwiches, chili, charcuterie, things of that nature. Not a lot of different types of food right now, because we want to see how that works. But because I am applying for a liquor license, that, you know, I definitely want to have, you know, have to have some food there. The facility architecturally is going to be an open concept. We're going to have 3 levels, and the top level is really designated towards the artists and their works. And again, people can, you know, come upstairs and visit and see their works of the local artists and entertainers. But downstairs in the cellar, what we have to call the cellar, which is the basement, I guess, we are going to develop the warming kitchen, so that, you know, again, we can serve the food, and there will be a bar down there. We're not going to open until about 4 p.m. so that, you know, anything that can occur during the day, whether it's classes or the community needs to have meetings there, whatever, you know, it is open for the community to, you know, have meetings again, as I said, recognizing that a lot of the spaces that, you know, you want to, I'm not that certain here in Mount Rainier, but I do know that a lot of the spaces in the in Prince George's County are relatively expensive. So I want to offer the ability for people to utilize that space and, you know, not have to pay a high price. Of course, you know, I have to keep the lights on. So, you know, there will be a nominal cost for that. Architecturally, as you see this picture, we're going to have an outside rooftop place where people can sit and converse also. So that's one of the hopefully the highlights of what we're trying to do. There will be an elevator in the rear, as many of you probably don't know. I do use a wheelchair, so it's not just accessible for me, but it would be accessible for anyone who wants to patronize the facility. We're going to have secure fencing to make sure that everyone is safe and that the parking is secure. And again, we'll have some outdoor seating on the side. But the Art and Soul vision is, again, for mature clientele. There is, you know, we will have security to make sure that everything is maintained in an orderly fashion. And the way that we will be advertising, because of the population that we're looking at, and everyone's welcome. It's just that, you know, we do have our target, I do have my target population. And when I keep saying we, it's more or less my architect and us are working together to make this happen. I think I mentioned it's going to be an open concept for the most part. We'd like to have, if someone wants to do a small wedding or something, since it's not extremely large, we do have our open spaces that will be if we move our chairs and stuff around, it'd be one floor will be about 640 square feet, and the other floor will be about 588 square feet. So you see, it wouldn't accommodate a large wedding or anything, or any type of celebration someone would have, but it would be enough for someone to have something very small and very intimate. And the whole concept is the whole intimacy of the facility. I think that's about it for me, unless my, one other thing, my inspiration did come from, for places within Prince George's County. I think Arts the Nation, the Muse Paint Bar in National Harbor, and the Harmony Hall, because they also have jazz and art exhibits there. In addition to, I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Westminster Church, they have jazz, and most of their clientele is basically the clientele that I'm interested in bringing to Mount Rainier. Let me see if you have any, like I said, if you have any architectural question, Jermaine, is there anything that you'd like to add? I think he's still on here.
I think we're running out of time, so maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So-
sorry. So if you have any questions.
I'm gonna open it up to Mayor and Council for questions. And then either you or the architect who fill us in if there's any questions particulars the council has. So Jimmy, I'm gonna start with you, followed by Valerie, followed by Jared, and then Luke.
Well, Ms. Lowry, thank you. It sounds like we really appreciate you wanting to invest in our town, and you young people can party. You guys a little younger than I am. So two questions. One is parking. How many, parking is always an issue in our town. You said you had parking spaces. How many parking spaces do you have back there?
I think after we have to do a bump out, and I will let if Jermaine is on the phone, because I'm not sure exactly.
I guess the question, do you think you're gonna have enough parking for the people who go there? Because we have limited parking. I'm just curious what your, I'm not saying you could solve the question, but what your sense about parking for people who come, and how many people do you expect to come? Like, is it like 20, 40, 100? I mean, what's your number of people you would be happy to see, on a weekend evening?
Enough to pay the bills. But
well, I know, but what is that?
I know. I would anticipate, well, let me say that I can accommodate up to 100 people, but that's not what I mind to. I would expect on a consistency, maybe 50.
50. And how many parking spaces do you expect you have?
Right now, we have about, at this particular time, I know that it's 12. I think that we'll probably be left with 8, but also do know, and I'm hoping, and this is one of the things I was trying to find out, is we don't plan on going past 10 o'clock, and I do know that there is some public parking next door. So I'd like to find out more as to whether we can utilize that and street parking.
Your permit though says for up to midnight.
That's
that was a good. That was but on weekends you do plan to do up to midnight, because that was a concern some of our residents had.
That's what it says, but to be quite frank, I don't expect us to go past 10 or 11 o'clock on the weekends. But for licensing purposes, we just maxed out. But if I could speak for the majority of the people that come, then usually around 10 o'clock we get tired.
Thank you so much. Valerie, the first yours.
Thank you. This sounds like a wonderful business. Thank you for coming into Mount Rainier. And it sounds like it's going to be a good fit. Just a quick question. What's your time frame for opening? And then have you reached out to the current business association at all?
No, I have not reached out to the businesses, but that is my intent. I think we have a estimated opening time, but we're still going through the permit process with Mount Rainier in about 6 months, 5 to 6 months, I would say. Jermaine, would you like to chime in on that?
Yes.
Yes, I think that's what time period we're going to be looking at. We have one final meeting with LMUTC next Wednesday.
Mixed
to
use
get
town
their
center.
approval. Once we receive their approval, then we can now submit to DPI and start working towards getting our building permit. And we all understand how DPI is operating right now with their slow process. So we're looking at doing some things a little bit different as far as for getting reviewed faster. So we're probably going to be looking at starting construction around March, April, right past winter time. And we're going to be looking at about a 3-month renovation process, renovation and addition.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Jared?
Sorry about that. No, just Jody, thank you so much for coming and staying later in the evening and speaking more about your business. I think we're want to thank you for being interested in coming into our town. Appreciate you coming in to not only create a space, fill out a space in our town, but also create a community gathering place, create a place that I think, as you noted, fills some gaps and the type of venue, and was really appreciative of your notes about like different sort of civic engagement and other opportunities there. So just also wanted to appreciate your working through the legacy mixed use town center. That's kind of our town, I want to say kind of downtown zoning regulations that are done in coordination with the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning and a appointed committee of Mount Rainier residents that are experts in this area. So just thank you again, and thanks for appreciate you hearing your sensitivity to neighborhood concerns and your interest in appearing before us and listening to and hearing, I guess, feedback and questions as well. So I know there's folks that will be waiting to make comment or have ask questions. So I will stop right there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jared, Luke?
Thank you, Mayor. Jody, thank you so much for coming forward and talking with us. I apologize. I know you had reached out about touching base and talking. By the time I saw that this meeting was happening, and I just couldn't find the time, so I apologize for that. But I just want to say this looks great, and echo what Jimmy said, that I appreciate you investing money in Mount Rainier. There's 2 things I want you to know where Mount Rainier can help. We do have an economic development incentive fund. A lot of our businesses, both current businesses and new businesses, have tapped into that funding to help. So for example, Pennyroyal Station, it took a while for them to get a permitting. So I appreciate your aggressive schedule. Sometimes things get in the way. It took a while for them to get the electricity on from Pepco. There was a whole lot of issues. And so they needed some help at the end building out. The same thing happened with ERA Wine Bar. And we were able to give them either $25,000 or $50,000 in a forgivable loan, as long as the businesses met certain conditions. And we contract out to FSC First, which is a bank that helps communities with this sort of programs. And so they work with you to develop a good business plan to see if it makes sense for us to loan you the money. And so that's just an option I want you to keep in the back of your mind.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Ron Hopkins, who's on the call, he can give you more information and get you in touch with FSC First. Just a really great program, and I want you to know it's available and that you can take advantage of that, because that's been helpful to a lot of new businesses, because the delays with DPI end up costing you money. And we don't want to see you not come through with your dream because you need $25,000 or $50,000, because we're here to help. And we want to make sure you hear that loud and clear. The other thing is we have an arts commission in town, and the arts commission has about $20,000 every year to do art. And so the art mural you see on Pennyroyal Station, that was the city's arts commission. And we were able to do that because the owners of the building, Mankiti, and the owners of Pennyroyal Station were willing to partner with us on that art mural. If you're willing to partner with the city on any sort of art mural, I'm sure the Arts Commission would be all ears. They try to talk to businesses, but sometimes businesses say, no, we don't want to partner with the city. We don't want art up there. But it's a really good group of people. Just throwing that out there because I know you mentioned the art and your name says it all. So, you know, the side of your building or anywhere else you might be interested. We do have an arts commission. The city pays for that artwork because it's a benefit to the city to show off our love of the arts. And it's a benefit to the building when they get some beautiful art up there. But that's your call. Think about it. Take that back.
Luke, I don't have to think about it because I'm all in. I was in before you even mentioned it because my architect, I said, I want a mural on the side of the building. So I'm all in. So I have no problem in partnering, okay? And okay, thank you though. I appreciate it.
That's great. I'm going to put my email address into the chat because you can, I can connect you to the Arts Commission because that could be a project at some point. May not be next year or the year after, whatever. We can figure that piece out. But so my email address is in the chat. Make sure you take it down. And again, just thank you so much for investing money in Mount Rainier. And hopefully we can, you know, invest in you as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. You all make it real exciting for me. I am so looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you so much, Luke. So aside from the two things that Luke mentioned, we also offer entrepreneurship programs, and Mr. Hopkins will be able to talk to you about. They were able to like work on various businesses' websites, work on their pitch, and work on, you know, their slogans. So they were very influential when it comes to like supporting the business. So that's another very great tool. I'm pretty sure you know how to reach them. If not, please visit the Welcome Center. But I think it's important because we do want to make sure you succeed. And part of that includes, like, you know, you said, like, you're invested in the city, we're invested in you because we want to see like jobs and people coming here and ideally having Mount Rainier money staying in Mount Rainier, you know? So that's like very, and when I saw the plans, I was like, she must have bought this building because the kind of work that's being put into this building is not just a retouch to get it open. And so thank you for investing in our city and seeing how great and wonderful it is, and also creating a space that seems very welcoming for a pocket of a pocket community members like that. It seems like maybe like all ages that enjoy jazz, you know, and in a good time and a relaxed time, because since after work you just want to relax. You don't want to have to deal with any dramas. Like relax, eat, and enjoy. You know, and I think that sounds very much like its atmosphere. But also thank you for making sure you came to the meeting. I know we're running a little bit like, you know, on time, but I think the team covered most of the things that I was going to cover, and you basically gave a very thorough information. That's why I thank you in the beginning. If there's something I see, I'll make sure I address it, but please look out into the research the city has, because we definitely do believe it's a partnership. And also it explains why you're able to move as fast as you're moving, because it did got brought to our attention that you were still in the working phase as you're trying to first get the license, right? Some people wait until the last minute and they're like, oh, we should have done this ahead of time. So it's like, she must know what she's doing.
Remember, I worked with DCRA, and that's how I learned a lot from that.
So that makes more sense now. And also, it is good to hear Rhonda Dallas speak very nicely of what this building is and what it'll do for the community. Okay, so I do want you to know that I ran into her and she did let me know. So it put me a little bit at ease knowing that you had somebody that's very keen in our community, speaking very highly of you and your dream and how supportive, hard worker you are. Okay.
Well, thank you. And I'd like just to say one more time, I know we're running. My background not only is regulatory, but is also diversity. So that's why I would love to create a very diverse atmosphere for everyone to participate. So.
Thank you so much. So we are not going to take any more of your time unless there's a question from the community. And I don't see none.
And I have one other thing to add, Selena, when you have time.
Jimmy Tarlo, second round. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So let me kind of now puncture the balloon a little bit. I mean, I appreciate it in the business. We've had bad experience. We had a place called Bass Liquor that was a disaster in our community with people. And we also have, you know, people who had another business in the area where you are, where people were hanging out. And there are going to be concerns. Unfortunately, they're not all here. So I think it'd be good if you, at some point in the future, maybe did a kind of a community meeting to kind of even knowing where people saw and did it. This won't solve everything. I mean, I'm supportive. Don't get me wrong, but I think to just say that, you know, everybody's, you know, welcoming, I think it'd be helpful to have some community outreach, and maybe you could talk to Mr. Hopkins about how to have another thing where your neighbors, because there are a lot of neighbors there who are concerned about parking, about people loitering, about, you know, all sorts of stuff happening. So, you know, we're positive, but it doesn't mean everybody in the community is going to be equally positive without kind of doing some more outreach. So I just want to, you know, put that out. Just because we're happy campers doesn't mean the whole community will be happy campers, but people, you know, are concerned about what it means for people who, you know, live 2 doors down and are worried about people making noise at midnight. So anyway, I just want to make sure that you're it's not like you keep your eyes open. Sorry.
If I may interject real quick, Mr. Tarlow, get out of my head, because that was going to be my next question. I would love to meet with the community. I have absolutely no problem with that. And I would love to put whatever concerns they have at ease, because I live in the neighborhood too. So not this one.
Just
but
talk to Mr. Hopkins and maybe he can
will
talk
do.
to us about arranging something.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we do have a comment from Ms. Katie Hufflin. Exciting for this business to come into the community. Thank you for speaking with us tonight. So perfect. And please don't forget to invite us to your grand opening. And we're hoping everything lines up correctly, and we'll be there to support the kickoff. Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a wonderful night. Okay.
All right. You too.
And
Thank you
both for
all.
being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Have a good day.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Melissa, can you put the, thank you. Oh, Melissa has internet. I can tell she was quick on those, on that, on that transition. Thank you, Melissa. I know you're suffering, Melissa, on the other side. Okay, so moving on to item number 8, ARPA discussion and vote 21. The mayor and council will have a discussion of the status of projects. Is there anything, mayor and council, is there anything you got that we need to vote on tonight? Because I didn't see specific on the agenda. You guys just want to do a recap, or you guys just want to move it?
We lost your audio, Selena.
I apologize. I said, I know it's on the agenda, doesn't specifically say if we're voting on something, but if it's just a recap of updates, do you guys want to just like hold it for the work session, or is there something specifically we had moved to vote?
I moved to put it in the work session.
Thank you, Valerie. Anyone else?
I could go to the work session.
Right. So I have 2 people, but is there any objection for Jimmy or Jared to move it to the work session?
No objections from me.
Okay, Jimmy?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to be moving on to the work session, and I do see a comment in the chat from Derek Hart. Thank you for making time to do this presentation. And Neil Bennett, what a great business idea. I'm very excited to see this new addition to the community. So that was from the presentation for 3408. Perfect. Can we move it on to item number 9, Melissa? We just saved 20 minutes right there. I think number 9 was the vote on the approval of the minutes. Mayor and Council will vote on approving the minutes for June 1st, public hearing and legislative meeting, June 30, public hearing, special legislation and work session, August 9, special legislation meeting and public hearing, September 6, legislative meeting, the first 2 for June 1st and 30 for 2021, and August 9 to September 6 were for 2022.
Mayor, you're here, your audio is gone. It's very weak.
I'm speaking a little bit fast. Sorry, JB. It's basically the approval for the minutes you see in front. They'll have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes presented. They were submitted to us on the last work session, so we had more than 2 weeks to review these minutes, and some of them a little bit longer. Can I have a motion on the floor to approve?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Seconded.
It's been probably moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes, I was wondering, is it June 1, 2021 or June 1, 2022?
Melissa?
It's June 2021. These are the back minutes that were not completed that we went back to get them completed.
So they're cleaning up and reconstructing some of the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Anybody else for discussion? Hearing none, any objections? Abstentions? Hearing none, the minutes have been approved as presented. Thank you so much, Melissa and Gabby, for making this happen. We'll get there. We'll get to all the other ones. They're definitely cleaning up and making sure we're up to date with the new ones. All right, perfect. Item number 10, it is adjournment, but I want to make sure to point out we're adjourning and starting the public hearing, followed by a closed session, okay? So can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Is it probably moved in second by Jimmy and Jared? Any discussion? Objection? Abstentions? Hearing none, the legislative meeting for October has come to an end. Thank you guys so much. And we'll be moving on to the hearing, the agenda for public hearing regarding Ordinance 09-2022 Budget Amendment number 1, authorizing the movement of funds in fiscal year 2023 budget between line items. For tonight, Thursday, October 6, 2022, following the legislative meeting, which just ended. So we'll do a call to order. Jared Stolfus.
Here.
Jim Carlo.
Here.
Valerie Woodall.
I'm here.
Luke Chesek.
Here.
And myself, we're here. Melissa, can you make sure the notes reflect that Luke was also in the legislative session? He came in a little bit shortly after roll call, so I want to make sure he gets it's on the record that he was here. He missed the roll call by a few minutes. All right. Thank you guys so much. So we have a complete console. All right. So review of the agenda. I will ask Vice Mayor Stolfus to please read the proposal for the public hearing and proposal to go into closed session. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, number 1, call to order. Number 2, review of agenda. Number 3, public hearing regarding ordinance number 9-2022, budget amendment number 1, authorizing a movement of funds in fiscal year 2023 budget between line items. Excuse me. Number 4, proposal to go into closed session according to the annotated code of Maryland. The mayor and city council, Mount Rainier, Maryland, have the statutory authority to close a session under general provisions, Article 3-305B, for reasons of subsection 1(7)(1) to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. And number 7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. The mayor and city council propose to go into closed session to discuss personnel and consult with the city attorney to obtain legal advice. And number 5, adjournment.
Thank you guys so much. Council, you heard a review of the agenda. Is there anything you need to add or subtract to this agenda?
I have nothing.
Thank you, Jared. Valerie?
Nope.
Jimmy? I'm assuming it's a no. Luke?
Not unless we wanted to add.
No.
Oh, no, yeah, probably not. Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, like, no, we do not want to add anything.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to have a legislative meeting in top of the work session, so.
Yeah, never mind. It's covered by 4, never mind.
You're covered. All right, so hearing, how do you call it? There's no adding or subtracting to this agenda. The agenda will move as presented. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor, for reading it, okay? All right, moving on to item number 3, public hearing regarding ordinance number 09-2022, budget amendment number 1, authorizing a movement of funds in fiscal year 2023 budget between line items. Melissa, can you put the budget amendment so that was on the screen? Let's see, we'll have a summary of it. Thank you so much. Okay, whereas the City of Rainier budget for fiscal year 2023 was adopted by ordinance number 04-2022 in May 2022, and whereas it's been deemed necessary to transfer fund between line items to meet the current demands for goods and services, and now therefore it be resolved in the Mayor and Council of the City of Rainier, Maryland, that the following transfer fund between appropriations shall be made to the fiscal year 2023 budget of the City of Rainier. Before I start reading these lines, can you, if you're here for the public hearing, please type your name, last name, block number, and street number, and let me know you need to speak. And I'll call upon you. If you just have a comment you need me to read, just put read in parentheses, and we will take care of that, okay? All right, from line item 5598, contingency, amount of 2,500 to line item 5557, Mount Rainier Youth Council for the amount of 2,500. From line item 5598, contingency, amount of 5,000 to line item 5556, Latino Heritage Celebration, amount of 5,000. Move it up, Melissa, please. A total of $7,500, and that is complete read of budget amendment. Thank you. 09-20, ordinance number 09-22, budget amendment number 1. So if we have any members of public that have a question about the budget amendments, please let us know. We'll wait to hear from you. In the meantime, is there anything on Facebook, Pink?
None on Facebook, Mayor.
Thank you, Pink.
You're welcome.
So what we'll do is I'm gonna wait to 8:38 to give time in case somebody wants to is typing something in the chat to let us know. And if there's nothing, we will move on to adjournment, okay? Melissa, in the meantime, can you send us the link to the closed session so Mayor and Council has it available at our fingertips? So we could go from this one to the next one? All right. So it is right now 8:38 p.m. Pink, is there any comments on Facebook?
There's none, Mayor.
Okay, and there is none on the chat. Seeing there's none on the chat and none on Facebook, I will move on to item number 5, adjournment. Can I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Sorry.
So is it properly moved and second? Any discussion?
Could we go into closed session in 5 minutes and take just a little 5-minute break?
Well,
Yes, we can, but you know what though, it's actually not adjournment. It's just moving from public hearing to the proposal of closed session. So my apology. So we'll step back. I forgot that we unite them in the same agenda. So I'm asking you guys to withdraw your adjournment. All 4 of you that said yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I know, this is the fastest adjournment I've heard in my life. Okay, so Item number 4, proposed to go into closed session. So we're putting an end of the public hearing at 8:30. We'll make it 8:39, fair enough, and with nothing on Facebook or on the chat. So proposal to go into closed session according to annotated code, Maryland, the Mayor and City Council of the City of Rainier, Maryland have the statutory authority to close a session under general provision Article 3-305B for the reasons of section 1 and 7. And Vice Mayor Jerry Stoffes read it to great length. Both number 1, discussion, appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials, whoever the public body has jurisdiction, or any other matter that affects one or more specific individuals. And number 7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. So at this point, I will ask for counsel to put a motion on the floor to go into closed session.
So moved.
Valerie, I saw you smiling. Jared moved it. Valerie seconding.
I'm seconding, yes.
And it's like, I'm not throwing myself out there. I did it last time. Okay. It's been probably moved in second. Any discussion? Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, we will go into closed session at 8:45 p.m., granting us 5 minutes to like reset and join the meeting. Okay. And thank you guys so much. And Vice Mayor Jerry Stoffes will be reading the closed session summary on our next meeting. All right. Thank you guys so much, and have a good night, committee members. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, staff as well. All right.
Thank you.
5 minutes, guys.